Alright, so here we have the results of our base coating of the Conan Brutal. In this case, what I've done is ended up with 3 different variants of the mixtures of the pigmented powders, and this is what I came up with. There's some subtle differences here. I really wanted to have the skin tone stand out a little more than the rest, and then I used one extra level of kind of in between. So I have a really bronzy color, a really coppery color, and then one that's kind of halfway in between. Now, in each of these 3 scenarios, I did not use the powder straight from the bottle. I always mix the powder with one of the other powders just to kind of give it a little bit of an edge. So let's have a look at what I've done. On the base here, and for the boots, and pretty much all of the leather, all of his axe here, his helmet, pretty much all of this stuff got the same color. And in this case, that was the antique bronze mixed with a little bit of the silver. And what that did was actually dull down the redness of that antique copper a bit. So we get more of a golden bronze color in these cases where I did that. Next, I took a little bit of that same color, that same mixture, and I added back to it just a little bit of the super copper. So that brought back some of the red, and it was a slightly different color red, but just a little bit of that. And with that, I used it to pick out things like his belt, and if I spin it back around here, the scabbard, the different little adornments here on the scabbard of his sword. And then here on this gauntlet where he's holding the axe, there's like a little piece of leather here, I guess animal skins or something here maybe. So I used it for that. The top part of the axe, some of these little bits and pieces in here, I used this kind of halfway between the copper and the bronze, kind of halfway in between. So a little more red there. Not a huge noticeable difference. If you're sitting here right with it, you can see it. But right now, the whole thing looks just kind of like really bright, so it's very difficult to tell the differences in there. And I'm okay with that. It's a subtle difference, and it's just enough to kind of pick out those areas. And then finally, for his skin, and just pretty much anywhere there's bare skin, I went ahead and I mixed up about a mixture of, I don't know, let's say 60% of the antique bronze to 40% of the super copper. I really wanted kind of a red color. I wanted to play up that red in this case, and I used that for his skin tones. So I felt like, you know, he is from an area they get a lot of sun, and so he's going to be a little bit darker, and so I really just wanted to pick that out a little bit more. I really wanted his skin tones to be pulled out away from the rest of his armament here. One last thing that I did here on the shield, and I'm not so sure if it's going to show up here, but the center part of the shield, where the lion is, and basically all of this stuff around the edge is using the same base color that I used for the base and the boots and everything else. And then that midway color, where I took this same base color, added a little bit of the super copper back to it, just a touch, just to tint it red. I put that in the areas that are recessed on the shield. So to me, those areas looked a little more like that would have been covered in some kind of skin, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. So I just wanted that to look a little bit different, and so I just added just that little bit of red there to it to make it stand out a little more. So there we have it. Right now, he looks like super shiny, fresh from the factory, and of course, we're not going to leave him this way. I'm happy to report that the magnets here work great. They snap right out, but then again, they hold him right in place, so now you can get a little better look at the sword there. And I will zoom in on this. Fortunately, we have a low-budget rig here, so we only got a one-camera rig, at least for now. Plus, you can see we're playing around with the lighting and the sets here. Basically, this is a real low-end production, but it will get better because we are planning to keep going with this. And so, as we can, we're going to keep doing it and keep increasing the quality for you guys. So, here it is right now, and like I said, I'm gonna switch cameras here, and we're gonna go in a little bit closer and take a look at some of these details.